we're just starting right now. You're perfect timing.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah. I'm just going to do a little intro of what we're doing. What's up, everyone? What's up, everyone? Thank you for watching. This is the Premium Tier Futures Weekly Recap. We focus on ES and NQ futures, as well as some other things like crypto and stocks. And you can find me, Phils Jackson, on X. That's at Phils Jackson, or at Premium FTS is the Discord uh, link on X. Feel free to hit us up in the comments and join. It's free to subscribe. We do this every week, sometimes twice a week, just going over the state of the market and our thoughts going forward. So thank you, Nigel and Hector, for joining me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, Hector, dude, that one play that you did for 355 ticks. Do I have that correct?
It was around 328, but yeah.
Three,
Yeah, man.
328 ticks. And I think I noticed that you ran 8 contracts. Is that right?
I'm trading the MNQ at this point, so it's I used to use 40, but I got too cocky and I just reduced my size half size. So yeah, I think I was in the right place in the right time that day.
Yeah, I think maybe you anticipated something like a drop in the market and you were spot on with your entry. So you ran, if I'm following you correctly, you were running the micros, the NQ, MNQ, and you
Yes.
did, how many contracts did you do on that?
I did 20. Yeah.
20 contracts. So I did the math on that. That's a few $1,000, you know.
Yeah.
So that's a
So
one and done.
yeah, and the funny thing, this is a funny thing, right? I woke up. I usually wake up at 3 4 a.m. 3:52, right? Because I live in the West Coast, in the West Coast in Arizona, and I had no internet, man. I had no freaking internet, and
Oh my
I
God.
was crazy. I don't know how I pull it off. I called the company. I mean, I spent like half an hour until I finally got everything sorted out, and I was able to do my prep, and one of those days, right? Usually, when I have days like that, I don't perform, but I saw the weakness, and I started to saw it was what day was, I think it was a Wednesday, and I start to see the market topping on pre-market, but I was like, oh no, they're gonna try to push this higher. And then when it came down and they couldn't at the open, they couldn't push it lower. They made a doji in the 2 minute time frame, and then again another one, right? Another rejection the next 2 minute bar. I was like, okay, this thing is not going higher, and that's where I loaded, man. And the rest is history. And it could have been more, but I start to see an evening a morning star. When you have a big red engulfing candle, a doji in the middle, and then price popping up with another engulfing candle to the upside. I was like, okay, I better get out of here, and that was that.
I totally get that. Let's see, I'm trying to pull up my screen here. Let's see if I'm just gonna go ahead and go back in. Let's see.
Hector, that was on Wednesday or Tuesday.
Let me double check so I get you the. Let's see. It was on the second. What was the second? It was Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I
Okay, so
remember.
I have that pulled up now. You guys should be able to see that. And we're just looking at the I've got the NQ index pulled up, which should give us about the same as the MNQ. Um, so Wednesday, this would be Friday, Thursday. Wednesday would be this middle chunk right in here. Um, this is on the 1 hour. You said you were trading the 2 minute.
Yeah, the 2 minute.
Okay, so that's Tuesday, Wednesday to Thursday. Okay, so pulling this back to the 2. So that should be Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. And you're on Pacific time. Is that right?
Yeah, Arizona. Yeah, absolutely.
And do you remember roughly what time that trade took place?
It was right at the open. I think I entered at the. Let's see. Let me pull it off here. I have my trades marked here. I think I enter at 9:34 or 36.
Eastern time? You're talking?
Uh, yeah, Eastern time. I I
Yeah.
I still have the Eastern time, so I don't want
Yeah.
to get cocky, right?
So that's totally. So I have that kind of pulled up here, and just to show you guys, um, you would have gotten in on this sweet little
Yeah, exactly.
pullback,
Exactly.
and
I enter on that pullback on that after that blue doji up, and that's when I said, okay, this thing is gonna fail, and that was my entry pretty much.
so you're talking about is it this candle right
I,
before it? This little
yeah, the first doji, the red doji, it's at the open. That one, the market failed to go lower. But then as we approached that blue candle and failed to go higher, that's where I enter into the next one, right? Because I
I
thought,
see.
okay, these guys are just bluffing this thing, and we're gonna go lower, and that's where that liquidation break took place. So
Did you
Okay,
enter?
so go ahead.
Did you enter on the breakdown of the blue candle or the top of the red candle?
the top of the red candle. Let me see if I can pull up my what is it, my order flow chart. You can see it clearly there.
Yeah,
Give me a second here.
Hey, what's up,
yeah, for
Eli?
sure.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Cool, man.
Welcome,
Cool.
Eli. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, how you doing, bro?
Doing good.
Awesome.
Eli, we're just going over Hector's. Um, I think he said 328 tick short trade on the micros in Q
Nice. Yeah, that
on
thing was
Wednesday.
awesome.
Legendary NQ Dawn.
That's
Oh,
funny.
well, thanks.
Yeah, that trade was
Hopefully,
awesome, man.
thanks, man. Well, I pay for my sins on Friday, so it is what it is, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, you know what? I have the. You want me to share my screen? I can share my screen here so you can
Let me
see
do.
it here. Let's see. We can share this window. Which one is it? This one. Okay, let's see. All right, I got it here.
Let's see. I think that's pulling up right here, and I'm just gonna. Oh, cool. So you got the footprints and everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so that's live on my side.
Okay. All right. So, you guys can see it.
Yeah.
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 All right. So, uh, what I've been noticing on the footprint, and I mean, I've been testing this strategy, right? Because the NQ, you gotta have big, big size room for failure, right? I'm using 40 tick stop loss, but sometimes, like Friday, especially, you get stopped, man, because this thing is nuts. Sometimes I've seen the ICT guys, which I don't know if that thing it really works or not, but these guys use like 120 tick stop loss, which is ludicrous, right? But anyways, my point is this: this is the 9:32 a.m. candle, right? That blue candle that Jeremy has there that failed. Okay, so it failed. So into the next one, I tried to enter at an imbalance level, which I couldn't grab because it went up so fast, and I ended up entering right here, just below the 21 EMA, and what at the end was the POC, right? The CPOC, the candle POC. So, and that was the lucky strike. But I mean, if you're playing with order flow, you can try to enter at the level of the previous candle POC, which would have been here, or an imbalance level, which would have been here, but obviously it didn't reach here, right? let's say if you enter here, you have all these wiggle room, right? 47 stop loss. To me, this would have stopped me right here because I only use 40. But you get the idea, right?
Much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what you're talking about, the CPOC, the candle clock. I've never called it that, but I think that's a great term. I'm going to start using that going forward.
Well, I pirated that from another guy, right? So it's not my term, but I just for shorting that.
Well, it's something that I trade off of quite a bit. I use a 16-minute candle clock when I'm looking at the chart, and I play like I play the edges back to it. If price goes below it, and then I catch the reversal back to it, or vice versa. If it goes above, I catch it back. That's just when I'm scalping. I'm not going for a big move like this, but you can see on the higher time frame, you could do the exact same approach and with stellar results.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't think I updated my levels. Here, this level is last week's low. I always mark the week's highs and lows as key levels. So because they always go to those levels to sweep liquidity. So I think this is the low. Let me just double check with the print screen I made. Not really sure. Let's see.
You said previous week high and low, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
marked those as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that was we failed at the week's low, so that's why that also gave me conviction to stay on the trade.
Very cool.
I want to ask you something about your money management and your risk management. But when you guys finish with the technicals of this, I'll ask you that question.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see if there's anything else that I was just noticing here. I think you said it fell off of the 20 EMA. Oh yeah, I did want to mention, so the delta. I'm noticing, that you've got sell delta down at the bottom, and it looks like that's your third column. So the very bottom bar on the left, it says -4537. That's your cumulative volume for that particular footprint or that candle.
That's
It's
correct.
almost, yeah, almost 5,000 again, and you can see the sellers are really kind of in control though. Again, -4,000, -4,000, -4,000, and then right in here you get a delta sweep, right? It goes from, let's see, your delta would be the third. So it goes from these -175, -417, 240, 240, and then boom, 915 buy delta, and it fails, right? So you're like, there's one candle right here, uh, that has all this volume to it, and it has a delta sweep in the other direction, and it fails, and it goes right
Yeah,
back into sell delta again. So that to me was like, that was an absorption event. Maybe that was either profit taking or somebody tried to push it higher, and it just didn't go. You
yeah,
know,
and
so
and
that was a great trigger.
thanks. And going back to your point, that's also what you see in Bookmap, right? Instead of this 492, for example, here at the failure here at the doji, you would have seen a big balloon or a big circle, right? Which
That's
you
right.
could say these are the last buyers or passive sellers, right? Because they fall on the offer. Same as this. Look at this, and they all coincide at the top of each candle, right? So this is what's push price lower, and the rest is history. And as we
Yeah.
came down, if you notice the box are getting loaded. So you have big volume here, but they weren't able to lift price higher. They tried here. Look at this. Buyers here tried to lift this thing, but they still coming in and with size here. So these are the last bunches of delta. And one key thing that I notice here, when we start when you see in order flow that they're aligning the POCs, usually a move is coming, right? Another move is coming. This is a power trade. This is a 1,000 lots, exchange it in 5 seconds. That's how I set it off here on Quant Tower. So usually when you have a power trade, it either is continuation or reversal. But the last straw that made me like, okay, I better not get greedy with this. I better get the hell out of here. Was this right? Because when I see a doji, it's time to get out of here. And when I see this going up, all right, it's time, And notice also that we have something similar to what Nigel uses. This is a second standard deviation to the VWAP. So, okay, price is stretched right here.
It's overextended. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I think that's really interesting. I don't know if I have. I'm gonna have to look up and see if I can do the candle POC like that using Jigsaw. Um, what you're saying is at the bottom, so to speak, when you get two candle POCs that are lined up like this,
At the
does
bottom
that
or at the top. Uh-huh.
yeah, does that suggest to you that there's going to be a reversal, or could it also be a continuation signal, or is it more likely to be a reversal when you see that?
Well, it's a couple of things, right? Here's let me break it down. First of all, you have quads, right? Like 4-digit numbers here on the POCs. So
Yeah.
these are huge numbers, right? You have tapering. Look at we have exhausting here. No more selling here. No more selling here. No more selling here. And again, we might have trap sellers here, the people who want to short retail or passive orders on the buy side, right? So all these things in confluence, right, told me, okay, man, you better not get greedy, get the hell out of here. And that was that, right? And I mean, to top it all off, this formation is a morning star. You get the red candle,
Right.
huge engulfing red candle, the doji, and the bull candle here.
That's a really good point. And that's a 2-minute footprint that you're looking at, 2-minute chart.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for explaining that. That's something that I'm gonna add into my approach. And then basically what you're saying about those candle POCs at the bottom or top is it's really contextual. You look for, other signs of overextension, like this is past the second VWAP band. You're looking at the seller's exhaustion at the bottom. And that'll be marked by these little, you'll see a number in the bid and then a 0 in the ask column, number in the bid, 0 in the ask. This next one has a 24 and a 1. The 1 is pretty close to a 0. There's not a lot of people willing to sell there anymore. So all that lined up together gives you a good signal for a possible reversal.
Exactly. And also look at this, look at how these imbalances align as well, right? Like and one thing you can notice with imbalances, sometimes the numbers are very similar. Here's a 400 lot, here's another one. So I mean, obviously to look at this in real time, I'm not a genius, right? I'm just a monkey pressing a button. But in real
Sure.
time, it's hard to like assess so much information, but you can analyze this thing and dissect this thing so many ways. I mean,
Yeah.
I even forgot to put my monthly levels. This was the September open. I just put this yesterday, and we can go through yesterday's play, and I can tell you what I failed to see yesterday, because yesterday I was wrecked. But yeah, I mean, we bounced at this level, another monthly level, and boom, man, the rest is history.
So do you only trade off the footprint stuff?
To be honest, I use the footprint as confirmation, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because when I get cocky, and it happens to everyone, right? You start to see this, and you start to have a confirmation bias, and you're just, I get in a role, in a losing role, right? So this is why price action to me is more important. I'd rather read the candles, to tell you the truth, but I use this to confirmation, and specifically on the NQ, I'm trying to use the footprint for entry, because I need to be tactical. Because for instance, the type of sell-off that we saw yesterday, price was like dancing here in 3 to 4 points, and then smash, man, coming down immediately, right? And then squeeze all the way up like 100 ticks and trap people in. And I got wrecked right there because I tried to chase. I was greedy. I was soaked in the FOMO of the media, all that stuff. I let it in, and the rest is history. But I ended the week green, right? But that's the type of thing that I try to avoid with a footprint, because you could have that bias in your head so easily.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
A lot of sense. One last thing. Can you scroll back down to that bottom candle, that bottom doji?
Sure.
Just while we were talking, there was something I noticed when you mentioned, prices being the same in both columns. And I'm just going to look at this middle candle and just, you notice in the puck, you've got 1,500 bids and 1,500 sellers. So all those bids that got hit got filled by roughly 1,500 lots. Then you move
Yep.
down, you've got another 1,000 on the bid and 1,000 on the ask. So they're matching, right?
Yep.
There's not enough sellers, and there's more buyers coming in, so much so that it's actually balancing it out and it's stalling it here. You down below, and now you have 400 and 400, 425 and 452. So that's 4 blocks in a row that have basically neutralized each other. They've canceled each other out. So in terms of a continuation, it's starting to look less and less likely when you have that going on. So down below, now we've got 400 and 277, 400 and 387, 400. And normally, I would be looking at these sort of at the diagonal, right? So this 425 would be going against this 1077, 402 against 450. Now that's a match. 409 against 277, 463, 387. So,
That's right.
but in this scenario, basically that would mean that this 1077 lot that went through was 1 tick higher on the ask than the 1160 on the bid. Wouldn't that be correct? Or assuming the spread, yeah, it would be 1 tick right there.
Yeah, no, but that's the actual way it works. I mean, this
Yeah.
is diagonal.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
correct.
Yeah. So this has been really enlightening. This is something I'm going to look for matching on these
Yeah.
footprint columns now. That's something I've kind of caught here and there, but I haven't really. This is the first time I've seen like a use for it.
Oh, and all these type of things you start to notice when you see so many charts, right? Like, look at this, right? Here, for instance, they align the box. What happened next? We go up, right?
Yeah.
Here, the box are like, you can say, sort of flagging, but in reality, you're having these outages here. No more buyers here. This is what you would have seen, a huge green dot on, or green circle on Bookmap. And
Yeah.
then we go down and look at this. This would have been a huge red one on Bookmap as well, even bigger than this one, 577, right? So
that would have been a cue that the volume was coming into the sell side right there.
yeah.
Very cool. All right, Nigel, are you prepped with your question about risk?
Yeah, I know NQ is really volatile, right? So how did you come up with 40 ticks? And 40 ticks, how much money are you risking on 40 ticks?
40 ticks, I risk around $400.
Okay,
Pretty
okay.
much.
And
Is
how
that
did
for
you
one?
how did you
Is that
come up
one
with
contract or? Sorry, go ahead.
how did you come up with 40 ticks as a
Well,
stop?
basically trial and error, but on days like Friday, that goes out the window. Friday, you gotta have huge pain threshold. On Friday, you're probably gonna have, like, I don't know, like 100, or
Wow.
or even more. And the problem with Friday is that the how price moved, because we had a ton of people buying. Brett was super bullish on Friday. but the NQ was so stretched that it and the ES also started coming down. One thing I failed to see on Friday was a divergence. While the ES was going lower, the NQ had a higher high, right? I
Okay.
failed to see that. I went to FOMO, blah blah blah. So to end this response, the thing is that at the last minute of the 2 minute candle, they flush everything, or better said like this: at the first minute, they flush you, they
Mm-hmm.
trap you, they go 100 ticks up, and man, you're done. You get stopped. So it's a wild beast, man. It's like a wild woman.
So the reason I asked that question is because I'm trying to figure out my stop, right? So what I'm trying to do is right now I'm using one contract, right? One ES, but I want to up that to two ES contracts, and I want to make it like because this is what I'm noticing. I'm trying to get 10 points, right? Which is what, 40 ticks. And I used to get that like I think about probably 2 months ago, but these days it's kind of bouncing around at my entry and stopping me out a little bit, right? So I'm not really getting that full 10 points anymore. I'm getting more like 6 points and then a pullback. So what I'm thinking about doing is having two contracts, um, take one off at 6 points and have the other one trail up to 2 points in profit, and then every 2 points it moves up, have it trail behind by 2 points, right? So if we hit the first target at 6 points, then my second one is gonna move 2 points into profit, right, from my entry. And then if we go up to 8 points, it's gonna move to 4 points. If it goes up to 10 points, it's gonna move to 6 points. And from there I'll kind of try and manually manage it, but I'm trying to, well, right now I'm using one contract and the risk is 9 ticks. It's a 9 tick stop loss. I'm getting clipped on that a little bit more than usual, but the trade is, I'm eventually getting the trade, right? So I have to recoup some losses. So I don't know if it's just the market conditions or if I should go back to 4 points, because I really don't want to risk 4 points because I want to up my contract size. So I don't really want to risk. I think 4 points with two contracts is like 400, and I want to just keep it down to 225 if I have two contracts. So that's why I was asking how you came up with that 40 ticks, because you're risking 400 off the bat, right?
Yeah.
So
And for instance,
how much trades
go
are you
ahead.
gonna take with taking a 400 stop?
Well, my rule is take no more than 3 trades a day if I'm losing, right? If I win, I'm out of there, right?
Right,
My biggest sin on Friday was that I made like 8 freaking trades. I won only 2, and I
right,
was okay, man. You gotta stop. You're being cocky, right?
right.
So one thing I would suggest, and I speak personally from experience, I would encourage you to try the micros. Why? Because they're more flexible. When a trader told me about micros, I was like, come on, man, that thing is for kids, whatever. But no, seriously, it's super flexible, man. It's more likely that you get paid with micros, because with one mini you could go wrong, and man, it's over. But at least the micros you can experiment and try to see what's your threshold, what's your paying discretion there.
Well, I actually did micros a lot, probably earlier in this year, and I actually switched over to the mini because the micros are actually more expensive. Like 20,
Okay.
20 micros is way more expensive than two contracts. And I realized that after I switched over to the mini, because when I looked at sometimes my stop, when I got stopped out, I was like, wait, hold on, isn't that supposed to be more than that? And then I saw on someone's video that the commissions and all kind of little stuff it's more expensive with a micro. So I think it's like I forgot this guy was saying it's like 10 times more on the commission or something like that, because each one is calculated as a contract, like
Two and a half. Yeah, 2.5 times.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I kind of like, you know what? If I'm trading futures, I just want to kind of stick to one contract and manipulate my stop around that. And if I'm advancing, I want to advance contract by contract. That's why I'm thinking about the two contracts, taking one off at 6, having the other one move up, and that's gonna be it's basically the same as you. It's gonna be a 400 stop if I use like 9 ticks roughly. So it just depends now on how many trades I want to take. Do I want to risk 800 a day to make, how X amount, or do I want to risk 400 a day and take more trades? You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at right now.
Good
So I
stuff.
just made a tool for this. I just sent it to Jeremy. I don't know if he's tried it yet, but it's supposed to be like a simple Monte Carlo simulation. If
Ah,
you've
nice.
heard about those, but it's you take your win rate, your average win, average loss, starting account value, and then it runs through a whole bunch of trades over and over and over again and gives you kind of your distribution of how many times you would blow up, what's your max losing streak and your max winning streak. So you can kind of, it's supposed to help you set your risk levels and kind of get an idea for the probabilities of how many times you might expect to lose in a row.
That's cool because I think my win rate has dropped because I lost my bookmap subscription for ES. So right now I don't have the edge of actually seeing the micro or the minutia of the order flow. So I'm working off of just the trade and view chart with my pivot levels and the deviations. So I'm not really getting to see much minutia, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of lost the edge for the entry a little bit. So that kind of cut down on my win rate.
Yeah, okay, for sure. Well, I'll
Yeah.
post the thing to the group and you guys can try it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
I'm eager to try that out as well. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
Um, yeah, so since we're on the subject of micros, one of my PA accounts, performance accounts in Apex has been deep in drawdown, and I let it get down to there's only like $200 left on it, and it was really just like crushing my ego that like this is an account that I was getting paid on, and then all of a sudden it's back in drawdown, and all of a sudden I'm about to blow it, and so I switched to trading the micros and just started playing for like 2 to 3 ticks, and that could be like $5 on an ES micro in profit, but because I've been able to do that consistently, I've started to bring it back. And so this is kind of like something I'm working at. Um, I think the micros are really helpful. For me, I had to step away for about 2 weeks and just not even trade that account because I was just too emotionally like locked into like I gotta win, and switch to a mindset of I gotta only risk what I can risk on this account, which is at that point $200 less than, right, if I want to keep it. So I found using the micro ES was really helpful to kind of get my head back in the game and just focus on these little wins. And so I took trades for all last week and was green on the account. I didn't make that much, but like it's really helping me that I'm able to do that without the fear of like, oh, I'm going to blow the account. So I would love to be like I figured out how to take my account out of drawdown, you know, and I've done it before, but this feels like a more consistent approach. So that's, something that I'm working on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I was listening to this guy Larry Williams, right? He had this interview on Ninja Trader, right? And he said that his daughter won the ES futures trading championship or something like that. And
That's right.
he gave her a strategy to use, right? And he said other people other students were using the same strategy, but what they did was when they started to run into a losing streak, they adjusted their risk management. So sometimes they got into a cluster of winners and they started to take like bigger size. And then when they started to lose, they started to drop down in size. And he said his daughter just remained with the same size. And he was saying that it's a mathematical calculation of how to trade. If you keep on adjusting your size back and forth, you're eventually gonna blow it, right? Because now you're going out of the mathematical equation of your strategy. So your strategy is a winning strategy. It has a certain percentage win rate, right? When you go into the drawdown, you cannot deviate from that process, or you're definitely gonna blow it, right? Because now you're going into is basically a whole nother strategy. And that strategy now would run its course in its probabilities, and you'd probably be behind already, and then hit a drawdown within the new strategy you're developing by like adjusting your risk. So that's why like right now I'm just trying to okay, it sounds like a lot. I'm gonna do 2 contracts, right? But the max loss for the day has to be consistent because I'm gonna get those 10 points, right? The strategy is gonna give me those 10 points, it's gonna give me those 6 points, it's gonna pull back, hit that 2 points in profit. That's gonna happen over time, right? But if I keep the 400 max loss consistent, you're definitely gonna make the money over time. So that's why I'm trying not to adjust it, right? Because our emotions are going to make us adjust the strategy. That's why these guys are using these algos and stuff like that instead of traders on the floor anymore, because the algos are not going to deviate from the plan. It's just going to keep doing the
Correct.
same thing over and over. They're going to buy at -2 VWAP. They're going to buy at -1 VWAP no matter what, unless it breaks a certain structure in the market, and then they flip to selling, and then they start selling at other deviations and stuff. So I'm trying to kind of listen to these guys because these guys have like 20 some 30 years in the market, man. So it's like, I gotta kind of grab onto some of their wisdom. It's hard for us, right? Because the emotion is like, I'm listening to you talking about potentially losing this PA account, and I could definitely understand how you feeling like I gotta save this, I gotta save this. It might already just be lost, and you could just get a new PA account and stick to the rules. Because if you get another one, that might happen again, and then you're just gonna be spinning. It's like we say in Trinidad, you're spinning top in mud, right? You just keep on going in the same cycle. So we gotta kind of it's like we gotta trade like the algos. You have your strategy, you have your max loss for the day, trade the trade, and then eventually it'll all work itself out, And one thing
Relating to what you're saying quite a bit. Yeah.
one thing I realized too, like this guy Robert Rother was talking about these Apex accounts, right? The rules that these Apex guys are implementing, it seems to us like it's like they're trying to sabotage the traders from actually getting payouts, right? But what they're actually doing is creating filters to actually get prop firm traders. So they're making it where these drawdowns are forcing you to have a max loss for the day. It's not really, to us, it looks like, they just don't want us to win. But they're actually putting those rules in place for money management. It's forcing you to manage your money and not go for these big swings, because the swings just don't work,
Yeah.
So
No, I agree.
I'm trying
100%.
I'm trying to stick with that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm trying to stick with really adjusting my expectations and going for smaller plays. What's working for me is if I get to 3 ticks plus 3 ticks, I better be locking in, break even or even plus 1 tick. And if it goes against me, I'm only letting it go 1 or 2 ticks below, and that's it. And a lot of times it'll hit 3 ticks. And this is especially true if I'm in drawdown. This seems to help so much. If I get a +3 tick, your head is saying, just hold for more. But the process that actually works for me is take those 3 ticks. And then, like Hector was saying, I'm done for the day on that account. That account just went green. There's no way that account will go red on that day if I stop right there.
Exactly.
And so I've been doing that
Jeremy,
once a day.
Jeremy, I think you're giving us a master class in trading psychology. One of the things I failed to do was exactly that on Friday. Curb my enthusiasm, just like Larry David, right? Because
Yes.
I chased the freaking top like a fucking idiot, right? And
Yeah,
I
me
got
too.
80 ticks, dude. I got 80 ticks, but no, Mr. Hotshot once more, and I got stopped. And then the whole thing unfolded. But if I would have just said, okay, I've been hot all week, I'm just gonna take whatever the market gives me. I don't need to be a freaking hero today. It's Friday. Just take this. That's it, man. It's beautiful, right? But
Yeah.
that thing that you said, that's why you save your account, just because you're just whatever the market gives you, low expectations. That's the thing you need to do because now you're in control. You're not putting the profits or on the back burner. You're putting them on the back burner, not in front of you. You're just focusing on the process. That's amazing, man.
Yeah. And thank you. I just to share, this week, um I I was 100% green this week, all 5 days in a row across 3 accounts, and I was trading 2 performance accounts and 1 evaluation account. And I in the past, I would have just tried to throw big money at it and Hail Mary it and hope it goes and then just be crushed when it doesn't go. And so I've been talking to Eli about this. I got to do things differently. I got to just go for 2 to 3 ticks. And sometimes it'll take off and run, but that's just gravy for me. Like I lock in my 3 ticks, and if it runs, it runs. If it doesn't run, it doesn't. If it runs, I trail it. But I did that every day. And with the 2 performance accounts, it was 1 to 2 trades. And if the first one was a winner and I just saw something that was like, it's looking really good to keep, it might hit it again, I might let it go 2 trades. If the first one was a loser and I get some insight and I feel like I could get a win out of it, then I'll let myself have 2 trades. And I wasn't always green. I had several days. I shared this with Eli. I went down minus 400, I think, on Friday, and then got into a trade that went plus 800. And it was purely from doing 1 to 2 trades a day on each account. And I had a green week. It was like, oh my God, okay, this works. I can do this, you know, step by step and taking just very small risk. So I'm going to keep doing that. I'll keep sharing with you guys my experience and see how that goes. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been a
I'm
long
trying to
time
do
since
the
I had
same thing.
a green week. Yeah, it's been a long time since I had a full green week like that. It sort of blew me away. And some of it was like a couple times I made $5, you know, and a couple times I made $50 on an account. And I was like, well, if I make 50 to 100, that's done for the day. Shut it down, you know? So yeah, good stuff. Um, well, where should we go now? Eli, do you have anything you wanted to share with us as far as like recordings or screenshots or anything?
I didn't prep anything this week.
Okay. Um, Nigel, anything else you wanted to add in here?
Well, I had this distribution phase that I had on the 1 hour chart. I did a video on that, but that got blown out of the water on Friday. So I wanted to kind of just go over it really quickly as to where
Okay.
we're at in a distribution or where we're gonna go.
Okay, cool.
Um,
Um, let me just so do you want to share your screen or do you want me to flip on Trading View?
so I'm sharing my screen right now.
Okay, gotcha. And let's see. Okay, I have that pulled up. We should be good to go there.
Let's see here. Right, so you can see my cursor moving around.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's see here. So I was looking at this as the preliminary supply. This is the buying climax. That's the automatic reaction. That's the first upthrust. That's the upthrust after distribution. And then I had some lower points of supply coming down here, right? And
Yeah.
then
For
we
some
got,
reason, I lost your cursor there.
oh, can you see
I'm
the
not seeing what.
arrows?
No,
No?
I see like some red arrows. It looks like you went short. Um,
Oh, so
but
you
I'm not
can't
Maybe if
see,
seeing.
you can't see
if you
my
zoom in.
markups.
Oh, now we see. I see the
Yeah,
cursor.
there it is now.
You
I
see
see
it?
your cross. Yeah, your cross cursor now. Yeah.
All right, so can you see this arrow?
No.
No.
No. All right, so that the Epic Pen isn't showing up. So I'm gonna just use
Yeah,
the
that's one
cursor.
of the drawbacks. I've had the same issue. The Epic Pen doesn't always show up,
Okay, okay.
unfortunately. Yeah.
So this right here is the preliminary supply.
Okay.
That's the buying climax. That's the automatic
Gotcha.
reaction.
Okay.
This is the upthrust. That's the upthrust after distribution. And then
Okay.
let me just make this a little bigger here. We start getting some lower points of supply. This is the first one right here.
Yeah.
Then we go down to this one right here. And then we have this one right here, right? So I was looking for a breakdown of the ice and come into like this monthly zone right here, this monthly support zone. I think it's the central pivot and monthly Camarilla S3 monthly levels, right? So I was looking for at least a breakdown into the support level, but apparently this could, because with the Wyckoff theory, they say that sometimes you're not gonna know what it is until it actually happens, right? So you gotta look for clues within the distribution or the accumulation to see which one actually is happening. So this could be something like a little spring or shake, and it's a reaccumulation instead of a distribution, right? Because of this pop-up. Now, I'm not too sure about that. Like, it could be a fake out to the upside again, and we just get a rejection on Monday and just come back down. But from this point of view, it's looking kind of bullish where, after the news, we got this buying up here. So what do you guys think about this? Like where the market is right now?
I was noticing there was a lot of bearish sentiment around Friday, and we had a couple big dips throughout the week, and I think a lot of people were feeling really bearish on Friday, and it did come down, and then boom, it popped up, and it popped up off that was it 5730, that dang 5730 level has just been getting hit and getting hit and getting hit over and over. Mancini's talked about it a lot.
Mhm.
As far as, I mean, I agree with everything you're saying. Your assessment of the Wyckoff channel here. You've got your point of supply, your automatic reaction, and then this diagonal wedge that came up. That's just classic phase B, right? You've got your up thrust and basically a false breakout that happened. It came down to the bottom. It wasn't like a really strong shakeout. It did
Yeah.
go to the bottom of the range. There is, a red volume candle, but it wasn't like
It's not
juicy.
too
I got to
deep.
jump on this,
It's not
Yeah,
really deep as a shakeout, right?
it's not. Yeah, so that puts me on edge, and it did go right back to the top of the range, which is to be expected. But like you're saying, like what's going to happen there?
Yeah.
It already did a false breakout once. So what is that, 50? So that's right at 5,800. So I would say 5,800 is the ceiling, and I would say we're gonna have to wait and see.
And
I don't know.
and
Yeah,
this is
I agree with wait and see. I'm more on the bullish side, but definitely just because we, like you guys are saying, we rallied straight into that high volume area. I thought the drop might be a bit of an overreaction due to the Iran Israel.
This over here.
Yeah.
So this is what
Yeah.
I'm thinking, right? From a geopolitical standpoint, if I'm a hedge fund manager, am I buying into the weekend with all of this stuff going on? Would you
Yeah,
guys do
probably.
that?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Because that's what they did, right? They bought into the weekend and put us up here. Would you do that?
Now that you mention it, the ES had huge prints around this 3000 delta around 57.95
Yeah.
and 57.97. So if we lose that level, I guess we're probably going down.
Yeah.
Because
That's the level to beat.
because now we have a double top, right? That's how they ended
Mhm.
the week, with a double top here.
Yeah.
Right? So I guess we gotta see on Sunday like what's going on here, because I'm still not really convinced of like a bullish move. We could do it, but I don't see that happening just yet. I would think that would happen like the end of October going into November. But right now, I don't know, man. It looks kind of
Now,
tricky to me, man.
let me tell you something here. The Nasdaq overshoot the monthly close of September, right? But the ES failed to do so. That one is at 58.0625. So that could be a key level going into next week as well.
So this here is the NQ 1 hour chart, is the same thing as the ES right now. So
Okay. We're looking at NQ.
yeah, this is NQ now.
One thing I would add here, in a bull market, there's that expression that bulls take the stairs and bears the window,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see these big drops, right?
Yeah,
These big drops that happen. That's a bear jumping out the window.
right.
So
King
it's
beer.
still, yeah, king bear, right? It's still bullish to have these big drops, these big quick drops. And in fact, if we were in a bear market, you would actually expect the opposite, which would be these bull rallies that are actually weaker. They just happen on high volume and they fizzle out. So that to me says we're still bullish. I also think there's a lot of negative sentiment in the market, and I think it's an opportunity for hedge funds and institutions to play on that and just do the total counterintuitive thing on us.
Right.
I
Right.
I think going into the election, that's the risk. But I would agree with Eli. I mean, overall, I think once we pass the election, and if the Israel thing is a nothing burger, we're gonna end
Yeah.
up the year going up because then seasonality kicks in, and a lot of people are gonna put funds in the things that are working. And what's been working? Tech, utilities, energy. Energy is going up, by the way. So that
Yeah.
thing, if energy is going up, that means we can expect more inflation down the road, right? So there's no, in my view, there's no need to sell, right? The problem is that this market that we're trading right here day by day, the buyers show in most of the time with a weak hand, or they hide their hand after hours, right? So
Yeah.
that's the sketchy part.
Yeah. And, also to add in, there's that saying that, war is actually good for the stock market. And we've got two wars going on now. The thing with Iran and Israel, and the thing with Ukraine and Russia. And the government is pumping money into, military spending, right? So these, even things like Nvidia, all the chips are going to be used for, you know, different parts of military applications. So those companies, AMD and stuff like that, could actually start to benefit from this. It's sad to say it, but by the same point, we got to be practical as traders and look at those things.
Oh, and here's the other thing. Next week, earnings season begins again. So on
Yeah.
Friday, we might have a smidge of a clue of what the bank's expecting. I don't know. We will have to wait and see if the market's going to move with earnings or not. Right?
Yeah.
Another thing I was looking at is the COT report, and I think it's gonna pop up now if you look at my screen. Right. So on NinjaTrader, right, they have an indicator here at the bottom for the COT report. And this copper one here, non-profitable, non-portable positions, right? That's us. That's like small
Hold,
speculators,
hold on a
right?
second, Nigel. Yeah, I got your stream is showing as paused.
Oh yeah.
Hold on.
It looks like maybe I'm on the wrong. Did you just
Oh,
switch streams or?
Let me come out and put it back on. Let me see. Hold on.
Okay.
No.
And which one should I? I think it's this one. And do you see it?
Clicking on it now. I think it's the blue and yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. So you can see in the subchart here where the crosshairs are.
Oh yeah.
And let me just do this. Let me just try and make this bigger. Right. So this right here is the COT report, right? And it comes out on Friday. So we have the small speculators in the copper. The commercial guys are in blue, and no, sorry, the non-commercial, which is like institutions, they're in blue, and then there's the commercial net, which is like, I guess it's banks and market makers and stuff like that, right? So it kind of shows that they have bought over the last week, right? Because they went from here, and now their positions is like 75-45 contracts net long. And us small speculators, we've always been net long, right? We haven't dropped down to negative territory. But the hedgers, the market makers, they're increasing their short positions. So usually what I looked at over time here in the chart, they kind of front run. When they start moving down, eventually we get a move down, right? The hedgers, like the market makers, the one in red, when they start moving down, that means that they're selling, right? And when we're coming up to this level here, we got the institutions buying, but it's like the market makers are selling into them, right? So you see we're getting that divergence here between the two,
Mm.
right? And
Yeah.
I think there's a previous
So
level.
eventually, it's going to have an effect.
Right. So look at this level here, right? This is where, no, let's see here. This is another divergence they had, right? So these guys, institutions were buying here, right? And they didn't get to go up, and the market makers started selling, and we got this breakdown, right? So they kind of control the market. They have like bigger bank, I guess, right? So it looks like they're selling into these guys again, because these guys are going long. They increase their long position, and these guys increase their short position. And this is at a critical level. So I don't know.
It makes a lot of sense. It has the potential to drag it back down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because why are they increasing their short position?
No, and I don't know if you guys follow the BIX term structure, right? The different futures across time from the BIX. Right now, the BIX futures of 1 month, 2 month are higher, which means they're in backwardation. So they're expecting more volatility. At least this month, the election month, is the one that, where you have this big ball on pinning what the experts say, right? And you could have a something coming up.
And just to point out too that us, like the small speculators, we reduced our long position a little bit. So you see that little pullback they had there?
Yeah, so there's a little reduction.
Yeah, they were at like 95K and they came down now to 86K. So they reduced their positions a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know what
That's
it
cool.
means. I'm gonna start looking at it, keep paying attention to it to see if it reveals something, but I don't know, it looks kind of suspect on the long side.
Have you read about Jason Shapiro? He trades off COT report. It's like one of his biggest indicators. Really, really successful trader. Should look him
He
up.
does a lot of shorts on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm asking, is he like
Oh,
a European guy?
no, he's American. He's like Chicago.
Oh, okay. Because I see there's a European guy. The name of his channel is COT Report. So he does a lot of that COT report stuff trading.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nigel, this. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, this guy he was in the Market Wizards. I think unknown. I think it was unknown Market Wizards. And then I think he does some YouTube stuff too.
Cool.
That's cool. Nigel, this COT report indicator, is this a proprietary thing from Anna Cooling, or is this something that's available on TradingView for free, or is it a paid indicator?
It's on NinjaTrader. So you're seeing my chart right now, right? You're seeing my screen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
go into indicators here, and
Oh, sorry, I'm still seeing. I'm not seeing that screen. I'm just seeing. I think I can switch over actually. Nope. Ugh.
No, but actually, the COT is a report that comes up every Friday by the CFTC, the
yeah,
Futures Trading Commission. So
you can
there's a
see.
site. Yeah, go ahead, Nigel. Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, there's plenty of site. I can send you a site where you can see all the different type of futures. But that's pretty cool that TradingView allows you to have it as an indicator, and you can watch the 1 minute chart. That's beautiful, man. That's
This
awesome.
is NinjaTrader has it. It isn't
Oh, cool,
yeah,
awesome too.
NinjaTrader. And the
And that's
website,
just a stock. That's a stock indicator that comes inside NinjaTrader.
yeah.
Okay.
And
Cool. I'm
I
gonna try
believe
that out.
the website that has like a really comprehensive look at it is barchart.com.
Oh yeah, that's one of them.
Let me see if I could pull it up real quick.
I just
And
posted Shapiro's Twitter to the general chat, by the way.
yeah, this is it right
Oh,
here.
cool.
So you could see commitment of traders. You go over here and let's see, you could click on right S&P.
I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing it. I'm not sure if you're
Yeah, we're
sharing
not
it.
seeing it. Yeah,
Oh,
I think you're showing that one.
I don't know, maybe every time I change the website or something that the stream drops, or I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta reshare the screen. If you click on the live channel and click on share your screen again, sometimes if you click on the screens option instead of I'm not sure
The
if it's
window.
display or something that comes up the window,
Yeah,
sometimes you can click back and forth a little easier.
there it is.
You guys could see it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm not seeing it yet. Is it this? Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Got you.
yeah. So this is the more comprehensive one. I think when I go back, there's the legacy report. Right, this is it right here. Can you still see it, or do I have to jump out
Yeah,
again?
yeah, I see it.
Right, so this is where you get like more details, more numbers and stuff like that of the previous report, and then you get like the current report.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah. So I want to try and so this is the S&P 500 here. And this guy was breaking down how to read it and stuff like that. So I think I'll share that in YouTube. There's YouTube videos where Larry Williams was kind of breaking it down, so you guys could check it out over there.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
this
it's funny.
is
I was talking to Eli a few days ago about the Larry Williams thing, and his daughter that you're talking about, she won the Robbins Cup when she was 17, and she happens to be Michelle Williams, who's the actress that was married to Heath Ledger and did the run in
Oh,
Chicago and all that.
oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, when
Yeah.
she was 17, she did I'm trying to remember, she took, I think it was 10,000 and turned it into 150,000.
Yeah, that's her.
And
Yeah, yeah,
and that was trading futures. And Larry himself has the record for the highest earns. You have a year to complete the championship or the challenge, and he
hmm
did 10,000. He took it over 1 million,
yeah, he did. Yeah,
and no one is. It was something like an 11,000% profit.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I'm kind of dying to dive into his books. I think he's still around. I think he still
Yeah.
moderates his own website, and
But
if he was able to pass that knowledge to her, I'm real curious what he has to share.
the
I
thing
actually
about him
watched.
is that he's not really a day trader. That's why these
Oh, yeah.
guys have like the win rate that they get. They're kind
Mhm.
of swing trading. Like it's not
Uh-huh.
exactly applicable to us day by day, but it's like with looking at the reports and stuff like that, it's similar, but they're a little different because
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's accustomed trading big size and stuff like that, so it's a little different.
And
Well, that's
that's
good
a
to
good
know.
point
Yeah.
because these guys they operate on what Nigel is saying, right? Looking at the macro picture and looking at seasonality. I only
Yeah,
watch like one or two Larry Williams videos a year because he puts his macro outlook in the beginning of the year, and almost all of the time, like the market, he's always bullish, right? But he tells you, okay, this is the equityclock.com market pattern for this year, and we can expect this and that. But Nigel brought a good point. I mean, they're swing traders. Really, their strategy is very, very different from that.
and that seasonality stuff is real because let me just pull
Oh yeah,
over another chart real quick, and this was something he said. Let me know if you guys could see this or if I have to can you see this chart?
No.
We don't see it yet.
Right, let me where am I? Where is my stream stuff? Okay, man, this is kind of annoying. You have to, if I'm sharing my screen, why do I have to jump out of it and come back in? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it makes it difficult. I know.
Yeah. So, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I think that's coming
yeah.
up.
Right. So he
Are
was
we?
saying this is wheat, right? This is wheat futures, and he was saying that the seasonality for wheat is that these guys buy on the 1st of October. And look at this here.
Oh, yeah.
That's the 1st of October. And he says every year they buy wheat on the 1st of October and you get a bullish run. Look at that. That's wheat on the 1st of October.
That's pretty
It's
cool.
it's it's
I
just
was
like
like,
the. I was just gonna say it's just like the Jewish market seasonality where they say you sell Rosh Hashanah and you buy Yom Kippur, right?
right.
You sell the beginning of the year and then
Well,
you
Rosh
buy.
Rosh Hashanah was on Friday, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, and so
I
that's
think
that's what
so.
happened. It was this week. I remember somebody telling me. Might have been Wednesday or Thursday.
And he was also saying about like these commodities with like agriculture is basically based on seasonality and crop performance and supply and demand. And he says it has like a real seasonality compared to like other commodities because it's an actual crop. So,
Right.
they have to sell at a certain time, they have to buy at a certain time because that's the only time it's available. So if you look at the COT report in this one, the indicator is kind of flows more. It goes out, it comes in. It goes out, it comes in. So it's kind of a little more calculated
I see
compared
that.
to
It's
like
not
the
crossing
season.
over.
Yeah, so it widens, then it contracts. It widens, it contracts, it widens, it contracts.
That's cool.
So maybe one day I'll have enough money to trade commodities like that, you know.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what size account you need to trade one of those futures.
I messed around with it a little bit. You could trade it with Apex. You could
Okay.
trade it. I mean, I think one stop is like $400-500, so it's roughly kind of the same thing, but the movement of price action is a little different.
Yeah.
It's
Probably a lot thinner.
it's like it's a little volatile, you know. It like
Yeah.
if it sweeps, it's gonna sweep, you know.
Yeah.
I would love to trade OJ as well. Remember last year that thing went almost parabolic.
Oh wow.
I remember you mentioning that, and I kind of forgot to really look into that.
I haven't looked at it into this year, but I remember last week it was insane.
Oh, that's cool. Well, we're over an hour here. How are you guys feeling? Do you have a few more minutes in you? I was thinking I'd like to share a little bit on Bookmap. There's a couple things I've been messing around with this week. If you guys have time.
Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, I'm
All
up
right.
for it.
Cool.
Yeah, let's go.
Awesome. So let's see here. Okay, just double checking you guys can see my screen here.
Yeah.
So this is the crypto. This is a paid crypto Bookmap setup, and I was really disappointed to learn that the crypto version, which is the cheap one, does not have the order book imbalance, which would be sitting right here under the Bookmap, that indicator with the current volume. In TradingView, I'm sorry, in Thinkorswim, it's right here, and I've become literally dependent on that. But in addition to that, um, there's been some other cool things that I've learned, and so one of them has to do with the order book. And I mentioned this before, but you can see these white lines that are inside the red bars here, and these white lines that are inside the green bars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That represents the biggest order inside of there.
Yep.
So
Okay.
yeah, so for example, looking at the CQC, you can see we're near the top of the bid. There's still interest up here. There's a great big bunch of selling that happened at 143.5. I think we're looking at SOL, the Solana. And so you can see that as this white block of liquidity on the heat map. So you know what's going to happen when price gets over here. If you look at the DOM, there's 13,700 in the ask column over here on the right at that level.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, is that an intention to fill, or is that a wall? And so one of the things I've been doing is let's break this up a bit. I'm going to insert a column and just go into configure. Let's do this, and we'll make that the ask, and then we'll make this one. Oops. Make this one the bid. And show ask. Okay, cool. So now that I've broken that up, look at the difference on the session profile in terms of sell volume. There's not that much. And then in terms of buy volume, now this is on the half hour. So in this last half hour, this heat map, it's been all buyers, right?
Mhm.
Coming up to this level. So, you know, is it going to break? Is it going to fill? I don't know, but I would have to, you know, do a little more research. But if you look down here at the bottom, the current volume CVD, and we can change this to
Cumulative.
the cumulative volume. We can change this to I like to use the vertical bars, and
Oh,
so that
okay.
just shows me, you know, we've had 35,000 buyers to 29,000 sellers. So the sellers have been bigger. They've been filling, and you can see the buy volume crossed down here on the bottom left, crossed above the sell volume, and it's been
Yeah.
rising. But again, we're getting to this level, and it's kind of close together. So, You know, it's a
So,
little unbalanced, but it could cross back the other way real easy.
can I take a
So,
shot
so
at answering that question? Is it gonna break
please,
that
yeah,
liquidity or not?
why we're here.
You're
Could
the
you
expert, man.
could you open up that the heat map at that level right there where the big buyers came into contact with that liquidity? Could you go into the minutia of that, open it up a little bit?
Um, hang on one second. So when you say open it up, you want to see a lower
More
time frame.
more detail, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, more detail. Going for more detail. So we got 5 minutes. You want me to go below 5 minutes?
5 minutes is good.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the 5 minute right there.
And let's see, could we go back a little bit because where was the level? Right, that's it right there. Could we go back a little bit?
Yeah, sure. 143.5 is the level.
Right.
So you're looking at the 15-minute chart now.
Right. So could we go down to the 5 minute, but I want to see those bubbles right there.
Okay.
So
How's that?
we gotta go back a little bit so we can see where it gets to the liquidity. Yeah. So 5 minute,
Yeah.
a little, go further back a little bit.
Okay.
Right. So from what
Yeah,
I'm
you can see
seeing,
there's an
what I'm
absorption there.
what I'm seeing there is that they're actually pulling their orders. The heavy liquidity is actually spoofing there. They don't want to interact, but they wanna discourage price from getting to them, right? Because if they were real resistance, they would stay there and get absorbed. They're not getting absorbed. They're pulling their orders and then they're putting it back when price rejects and moves away. So to me, what happens with that is if big buyers come in, they're gonna get out the way. So that's kind of bullish. Although we don't have the follow through right now, it's like the buyers are testing them to see if they're gonna stay in the book. And right now they're not. They're pulling away when the buyers get to them.
Feeling it. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Because if it was exhaustion, right, we're supposed to get follow through to the downside because it looks like exhaustion, that red line that goes into the liquidity right there, that's the best ask, closest to price, right? We don't get any buyers at that level, and we get minor selling coming down, but the sellers don't really go that far. And then we have liquidity coming to where the sellers are coming to. I think that's like at 143, and you see
43.5.
the bid actually pulls as well. So it
You
looks
notice there 3,000 contracts just got pulled off the offer. So now it's at 10 where it was at 13.
right, that's at current price.
Yeah.
Could we jump to current price and see where they're at?
What do you mean? This is the current
This is the
prices right
current
here
price.
at
Oh, okay.
143.3. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
And look, they
yeah, I
just
see it.
pulled and they moved their order up higher.
Yeah,
So we just lost another 1,000 there.
The screen is frozen again, and nothing is happening right now on my end.
Oh, gotcha. Let's see. How's that?
No.
I think it's just you, Nigel, because I can still see it, at least on
Yeah.
my side.
Yeah, let me jump
Yeah, me
out
too.
and jump back in.
Okay, we just filled that level and they pulled a bunch of orders and price is going into it on high volume.
Yeah,
And
that's
you
right.
And so again, these white lines indicate, for example, at 143.6, about 80% of those is one single seller. So, they're controlling price. Now it's almost 90% of this is one seller. There's 3,000 lots right at 143.6. That white line indicates it's all one guy, almost exclusively one guy.
Okay, I got it back. Right. Yeah. Yeah. You see they're pulling again. They're gonna go bullish. They're gonna get through.
Mhm. Yeah.
Lots of volume, lots of buying going in there, and then they're pulling those orders on the offer. So yeah.
Yeah. So see, maybe so another thing I've been experimenting with is in the order book um, column, you can do the aggregate, right? And so I have this filtered to 10 levels. So I'm only, if I was day trading this, I'd only be going for like a few ticks, right?
Hmm.
So if you switch to the aggregate, and then I'm going to add
Right.
the numbers in so we can
Yeah.
see the numbers. So this is a kind of a trick that I've been doing. If you're looking for the trap traders, you can see they're right here at the spread. There's only 600, 500 lots right where price kind of consolidates, right? And then you
Hmm.
can look above. You've only got 2,400 above, but you've got 5,600 below, and that's an aggregate. So the way it works is like the first level, which is right at the spread. The next level down is the amount of lots plus the lots that's at that level. So it's 1 plus 2.
Yeah.
And if you go 3 down, that's 1 plus 2 plus 3.
Hmm.
So it's kind of showing you in this situation that there's kind of more buyers stacking up just under the spread, and
Hmm.
there's orders getting pulled just above. So that would be another kind of bullish indicator of continuation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Another
Yeah.
little trick that one of these guys from Bookmap was saying that on ES, if you have at current price, if the order book only has like two contracts, like two decimals, right? Or two numbers instead of like three lots. They have like, 10 lots, 50, 60, anything less than three digits. You're probably gonna start getting whipsawed at that level because the book is too thin close to price. So it's gonna sweep back and forth. He said if your stop, like placing your stops, you're gonna want to place a wider stop if you have double digits, and if it's at triple digits close to price action, then you could have like a tighter stop.
That totally makes sense because just before the NFP print, we saw that the book came out, and then
Yeah,
went berserk.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like on a micro news level where there is no news, but if you have like a 10 book right there at price, it's gonna do the same thing like if it's news, just whipsaw, just sweep back and forth.
That's cool. I'm going to add in one other column here, and that's the quotes delta. And we'll just pop that right here. Let's double that. And then I'm going to configure it so that we're only looking at, let's do 6 levels of depth. And I'm going to go ahead and make that in the middle. And I don't want to show the bid on that one. So let's open this up a little bit. There we go. And then I'll do the same thing on this one. This one, we're going to get rid of the ask and set the depth to, I think I said 6. Oops, 6. There we go. So now I can see the quotes delta of, the order book. This is the delta of like what's coming in. And you can see right here, we've got minus 2,000 bids have just pulled, and we have plus 2,400 asks on the offer that are adding. So right now that might be pulling back a little bit in this area. And there's one big buyer just underneath at 143.2. More than 50% of this order block is one guy.
Hmm.
So let's see if that 5,567 lot is going to fill. Certainly a bunch of trap traders in between here. These small guys. I'm just curious if this is going to continue pushing price or not. You can see that the POC right here was at 143.5, which was that level. this is something you mentioned on Friday. When you see a big lot on the order books and you see it fill, sometimes it'll go through several ticks, especially on ES, but those sellers were still there. And so once they reassert after the break, the price just comes right back down. And that's kind of like what we're seeing right here.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple of times on ES. Yeah.
hmm Yeah, and there was a day several weeks ago where I saw a 2000 lot on the offer, and I saw it fill, and I think I even got in on this. I actually went above it and placed an order there, and it just went insanely up because my feeling on that one was it took so much effort and so much volume to fill a 2000 lot on the offer that it just pushed right on through and it kept going. And of course, eventually it did stall out, but it had a longer run going up because it took a lot of volume to take out that large order. So that's something I've been kind of looking for.
Like looking at bookmap over time, I have this kind of philosophy of like it's like a battlefield, right? It's like war. And they let their enemy advance a little bit to kind of show their power. If how much power do you have now? We have defensive power like on the offer, right? Now
Yeah.
we'll put like the first infantry there, but we won't put everything. We'll put like the first infantry and see how they handle you guys coming in. And if we see that you can barely get through the first infantry, then we know we could stack up like 5 times that infantry, and there's no way you'll be able to pass through. So it's kind of like I just look at it like kind of like war, on a battlefield.
Totally. Yeah. It's like war, it's like chess, or it's like football even. And I'm just watching,
Yeah.
I'm relating what you're saying right here. These are the weak hands right here at the spread. You see a little tiny green line in the middle of this order book.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you look below, these three tick levels are all one guy,
Mm-hmm.
right? But sitting on top of that line. So
Mm-hmm.
there's one guy in there. There's a big player in there. And then up above, you don't have a big player that's dominating these sellers.
Right.
So,
So the
there's
buyer
there's a wall of support right here,
the
right?
the buyer has power. He could hit market order right now, but he's still
Mhm.
feeling them out. He's feeling them out on top there to see, all right, let's see. He might be even having a battle plan. How far do I want to take this? Where are they gonna actually have more power? Because the seller, right? He could be weak here. This could be his test, right? Like he could be showing a weak hand right now. Like, there isn't much resistance. You could come up here and then this guy is gonna run into a massive iceberg that's gonna just take him out. So even though he's showing right now on the bid that he's strong, he still doesn't know what they have up there.
Yeah. I just have the mental picture of Wile E. Coyote, right? When you see that big plot up there, we go there and you're just up in the air and then come down.
It's a trap, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a mouse trap. They're like, come get the bait.
Mm-hmm.
Hang
Mm-hmm.
And
hang there for a second and then drop.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, totally. When Wiley Coyote goes up in the air and he just stalls out,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good mental picture.
Yeah. So that's the
I
tricky
like
thing
that.
about trading, man. You see things on the chart, you see the candles, you see the bubbles here on a book map, you see the heat map, but you still don't really know what's behind all of it.
Yeah.
yeah, you still have to put two and two together with your thesis. I think it was this week that I saw a 700 lot at the bottom on the NQ. I'm trying to remember what day it was. I don't remember. But then after that, I think it was Thursday. I couldn't. I think I didn't sleep well that day that I couldn't put two and two together. We're at the bottom. We're doing like a double dojis at the bottom, and then I see the 700 lot. And I think I told the chat or I told Claire, right? And I couldn't put it two and two together to say, oh, maybe I should go along here, right? And
Yeah.
it's one of those things.
Well, I'm relating to like what we're seeing right now. If you look at the order books, this 11,000 lot at 142.8, which signifies this, this big green bar right here. That's like your 700 lot on the NQ, and if that's an intention to fill and they're going to buy there, um, price may come down to that, but is it likely to bounce? And you can see they just refilled at one tick lower. There's an 11,000 lot. Now it's at 0.7. So this is the bait, man. They're getting sellers to chase down to this level. So I'm really curious, is this in this situation, is this an intention to fill right here? And are they going to shoot it the other way? You can see those large players just underneath it, 50% and 50%. So, you need more context, and I haven't been watching this chart, but for 5 or 10 minutes since we've been talking about it to have as much insight. But that's kind of a similar setup to what you were talking about.
If Solana relates to Bitcoin in any way, what I'm seeing right now on Bitcoin is there's heavy liquidity up at 62,800 and 62,500. Now, where I'm not seeing much on the bid, so that's looking like it's going to be a target for buyers. Now, if these buyers, like what I'm seeing here on Solana, they're actually building up a position to get up to, that's their take profit. As far as I could see on Bitcoin, that's their take profit levels. Like that's where they're setting their take profits at the heavy liquidity areas up at 62,800. And they don't really have any selling competition right now. Because if the sellers were, because what I'm seeing here on Bookmap is that there isn't much liquidity on the bid. So if the sellers were aggressive, they would be able to take price down pretty easily, right? So if that's not happening, that means that the buyers are in control, they don't have much opposition, and they can easily get to their target. That's what I'm
Yeah.
kind of seeing here.
And if I was to guess, on a very short-term level, what the short-term target is, it would probably be that liquidity up here again at 143.5, where that POC is. And you see there just wasn't a lot of sellers at that level. Really seeing large players stocking up inside the bid. To take it back to Bitcoin for a second here, Nigel, would you be looking at, I don't know, maybe the 1 hour chart on Bitcoin?
Yeah, it's 1 hour apart there, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I have this this green dotted line marked as sort of the bottom of the range, which it went below the range, and then now it's popped back into it. You can see it tested it right here on 60, and now it's looks like this could be a little change of character. Yeah, it is. It went higher right there than that last swing. So we've got a new swing high on the 1 hour. So as long as this stays above, 60, this could easily bounce higher again.
And they have let's see how much is on. They have 261 at 62,500, and at 62,800 they have 249. No, wait, that can't be right. Hold on.
Guys, I'll be back in a second.
All
Yeah.
right. So
You're looking at the Bitcoin book map right now?
yeah, 62,500 is 309, and 62,800 is 296.
And does that seem like a lot?
Well, it looks it's heavy on the heat map because there isn't much around it. So that's the heavy liquidity right now. I wouldn't say that it's big. I wouldn't say that's heavy liquidity, but I guess for the time frame right now and like over the weekend, I guess it would be heavy liquidity.
So you're saying there's a lot of sellers, if I have that right?
Yeah, there's a lot of sellers at 62,800.
Okay.
and on the bid there isn't really much to match that.
This is kind of cool. I don't know if you saw. I just went into the add-on configuration, and because this is a paid version of the Bookmap, there's all these add-ons, and I
Mhm.
added the liquidity marker, and you can see it marked that 143.5 level is 14K. There's 14,000 at that level, and then 11,000 up at 0.7. And
Yeah.
down below, you got 13K buyers right at 142.8, which is you can see there's a big buyer in there. That's a single, about 40% of that is a single buyer.
Yeah.
So this is cool. I've got some more stuff to kind of a lot more indicators to kind of mess around with.
Yeah, it's cool stuff, man. It's cool stuff.
Yeah, I want to like dig into this more. I really wish they had the order book indicator available, mostly because we do these on the weekends, and I love showing um, live charts or live maps of the heat map, what's going on. You can see the order book imbalance is grayed out. You can't add that one on. I could do a large trades alert. That's kind of
Trade
cool. Oh wow.
SOLUSTTMBSP at BMD sell 3.62.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
gonna
so
have
that's how
to
that.
up that threshold. Yeah, it's gonna go off crazy all the time. Everything is a large lot.
Yeah. And I can't use the volume imbalance either with the cheap version. So just things to know. But yeah, so that's something I've been messing around with is these two, looking at the two different histograms of the order book,
Mhm.
the aggregate, to try to get some sense of is there more offers on the ask? Is there more bids on the bid side? What's happening at this level, and then also using the sort of standard histogram because you can see these large lot trackers inside there. I really wish you could add this white line to the aggregate. I think that would be useful, but maybe it would be too busy. So unfortunately, that's not. So I kind of have to use both, which is something I've
Yeah.
been kind of playing with. But
One of the
yeah,
reasons why these guys mightn't be taking it up right now is that there is no liquidity to fill them to the upside. Like there is a little gap here, like on Bitcoin. There
Mhm.
isn't much liquidity between current price, which is at roughly 62,000 to 62,500. The book is kind of thin, so maybe that's why they're kind of stalling out and just waiting on some liquidity to appear above.
Yeah, it also kind of looks like it's in a retracement. You know, um, let's just see where this last little swing takes us to. So it hasn't even really hit the 50% discount yet. And this, if you track the lines, you got A, B, C, D. So we're still waiting on an E line. This should be a 5-wave pattern, and it hasn't completed yet. So that could easily drop down and do a little mini shakeout
Yeah,
right around 6.6 if it was going to go higher,
yeah.
or it could fail. It could certainly drop down, all the way to 61.3 and still be bullish. But I'm
So,
thinking we get a new swing low here,
mhm,
higher low, higher than 60,
mhm.
and that would be good to go for more upside.
So
And just
I'm
go
seeing
ahead.
some liquidity at 61,825. So maybe they might retest that before they even go up or push to the upside. But it's the
Yeah,
weekend, man. It's a thin book, so it's like anything could really happen.
yeah, for sure. We don't really know until Sunday afternoon, near the open. I would just point out, on the weekly, you can see this doji right here. That to me was the shakeout where it flipped to bullish.
Okay.
And it really did a major sign of weakness here, major sign of weakness here, and then a higher major sign of weakness. If you're tracking it on the diagonal, we're right at the midpoint. If you're tracking it horizontal, then this bottom support that would have come from the automatic reaction is now being back tested and holding.
Right.
So I think
Yeah.
this is really, really good for more upside. And then if I flip to the 5-day, you notice this big candle is a sell candle. So that's a selling climax visible on the 5-day. And then you can see if you look at the weekly that that's exactly where the bull stepped in and took
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
So this to me is quite bullish as long as we're above 60, even 55. Pretty bullish.
It's looking like they took control and they're just playing a little waiting game right now.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And I noticed too on these sort of Wyckoff horizontal, accumulations, if you will, a lot of times when you get to this last point, it'll dip a lot lower than you think it should to
Yeah.
fake you out,
Yeah.
and that has thrown me off so many times, and I always have to go back and look at, okay, we had the shakeout right here, this big volume candle, this big tail on the candle, and then the next swing low was higher. So as long as it doesn't take out that low, it's still bullish.
But
So
notice how that tail coincides with that first push on that red candle at the beginning of 2024, right? Where you can,
It's kind of right here.
if you can go lower.
Okay. Let's
Yeah, the first yeah,
kind of right here.
around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I would call an area of interest, right? Where resistance turns into support.
right.
Yeah, it flipped right there.
Yeah.
It flipped, went
They
higher,
really-
then it came back and it back tested it.
Yeah, they
Yep.
did really come back there. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would color this green instead of red.
And that's why,
Yeah.
like, from a Wyckoff perspective, I kind of develop my strategies around the what is it? It's the selling climax and the automatic rally, because to me it's a little more dependent than the spring, because right now we're looking at maybe that's a potential spring. It's supposed to go the other direction, but we're still getting pullbacks on that, right? And that's something I noticed. Like the shakeout, they claim that the shakeout is you just get that horizontal, that vertical lift, right? But it doesn't always happen like that. They come back and they shake out some more sometimes. But when you get a selling climax, you usually get that automatic rally, because the difference with the selling climax is that buyers have to support it and they have to put volume behind it. And when they do that, the price is definitely gonna go up to the automatic rally level, because of the volume they have to use to absorb the selling. It's gonna show, and it's gonna show by the automatic rally. But by the time you get to the manipulation of a spring shakeout, they don't have to really put much volume into it to get that reversal, because remember, they already shook people out by this back and forth stuff. So they're just getting the remnants of these guys. So they don't have to make a exact move or really put, like, it looks like much they put a lot of volume there, right? But where was the motion up, the upside motion after that? We don't really have it, right? They're still manipulating back and forth. So that's why I try to kind of keep
Right.
my strategy around the buying climax, I mean the selling climax and the automatic rally. So I get the reversal from the buying climax, the selling climax, and then I get the sell from the automatic rally, because that's going to come back down, because they have to keep it within this range of manipulation now between the automatic rally and the selling climax.
Just to kind of clarify this, I think the way I have it marked, your automatic rally would be somewhere in here where this red line is, and then your selling climax would be down here.
No, well, this right here,
I'm sorry,
this right here would be more of a distribution, where that would be you said buying climax first? Did you say that up
The
there?
initial buying climax
Right,
would be right here in this
right.
around
So I was
72.
talking more of like the accumulation where we get the selling climax because it's a little more reliable with the selling climax.
After the spring,
So
right?
after the spring, right in here.
No, well, we don't really have that structure right here because this is all kind of distributive because we're up in the air right here.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, this is more like reaccumulation maybe. So it's not like,
Before we
we
go
had
down
like
to
big selling and then we have a selling climax for the accumulation phase. You know what I'm saying? Because
You
this,
think so? Because uh, I think what you're saying is like if this is now like the new automatic rally, is that what you mean?
no, because this, to me, this couldn't be an automatic rally because this is now within like a spring or a shakeout kind of candle right there, right?
Okay. Okay.
Because we're coming off of a buying climax, not a selling climax. So this is
Mhm.
distributive in nature, but could be a reaccumulation, right? But
Yeah,
we don't have the selling climax because in the reaccumulation we're going up and then stopping a little bit. The accumulation is when we're heading down and they have to buy up all that selling. So this is
makes
kind of
sense.
the opposite.
Yeah, I would notice too, something we talked about previously, the volume. When you look at a regular accumulation pattern, you get the flagpole, and you get high volume, and then you get the consolidation as it's coming down through the flag. It should have kind of a gradual slope to it. The volume should be getting less and less and less. But instead, what we're seeing here is volume's kind of high, volume's kind of low, volume's a little bit high. It's real messy. There's no clean decline here. So that's usually distributive in nature. So that throws a wrench in my bullish uh, expectations there.
No, I think it's still bullish. I
You
think it's
do?
still bullish, yeah. Because where did Bitcoin take off from? Right? Did we get a accumulation? We got a accumulation sometime last year, right?
Yeah, I think it was this area around 42, 39,
No,
uh,
but you see that's
or
still
previously even
this is it down here. That's it, right? So
this guy right here.
right, so within that phase right there, we're coming from a downtrend, and you see that poke. No, not a little further to the left.
A little further to the left. Gotcha.
Yeah,
So over
right,
here.
right. So
Yeah, so
now,
this was the bottom that happened.
yeah. So
Yeah,
for
I'm gonna
me,
interrupt. Can I interrupt you guys for just 1 second?
Yeah,
I
please.
gotta
yeah,
I
go
gotta
ahead.
head out. I'm gonna get some dinner.
All right, man.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good talking to you guys.
All
Yeah,
right, bro. Enjoy your dinner, bro. I need to go do that as well.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, have a good
yeah,
one.
All
it's
right.
getting to be that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but what you're saying is we got this accumulation, then we got this pullback, we got
Yeah.
another little accumulation here, and then it really took off from there.
Yeah.
And so now
So
it's kind of possibly reaccumulating at this higher level.
So, well, what I was saying is like, you see where we're back to the left there, that blue candle, that little hammer candle to the beginning right there. Yeah, could you make it a little bigger? That little accumulation. Yeah, right. So you see that hammer candle right there to the left after the big selling.
Let's see.
I think it's in May, the end of May.
So would that be this
To
guy
the
right
right.
here?
No, no. The blue
To the
candle
right.
at the bottom.
That one?
At the
Oh, at the
bottom.
bottom.
Yeah,
Oh, this
that
guy.
right there.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So after that, right, we push up and we top out there, right? So for me, that's where I'm creating my this is where I get like more probability of getting a reversal, right? Because after we come down from the big selling, you hit those -2 and -3 VWAPs, and then you get that automatic rally where you're gonna push up to that top level where you have the dash green line. right? The first move there, but yeah, after the blue candle, the first move to the upside where it wicks up, and that's in the
Sorry.
middle of July, right? So from there to the middle of July, where we top out,
Right here.
yeah. So to me,
Yeah.
that's the automatic rally, and I'm gonna start looking for the Blackstone strategy where I take the shorts from up there. So on that blue candle, you start seeing the wicks and you get two selling candles. So that's a nice little short for me right there. So it squeezes after that with a blue candle. We get weakness up there again, and you get that big selling candle and it comes all the way down. So it's like you get two trades, two attempts at like shorten the automatic rally, which is going to come back and create that secondary stop there at the bottom 1600. And
So
that to
this
me,
guy right here, this sort of double bump right
yeah,
here.
to me, that's the most reliable part of the Wyckoff strategy. You're going to get the selling climax, you're going to get the automatic rally, and then you're going to get that secondary stop. After that, it just goes crazy.
Okay. Yeah, that was a classic 50% discount pullback, went right up to the 150% extension, came back down to the zero level, and then did another sideways thing right here. And then it just really took off from there. And
And
another
then,
sideways consolidation there.
so when we pull back that 50% there, right? How are we going
Mhm.
to anticipate that it's going to come back right there to take a long? So that's why I'm saying after you get that secondary stop, what's the probability of catching a trade or anticipating that pullback right there? Because you see how crazy that is, right? That's a
Mhm.
big short squeeze and it just goes. So how
Yeah.
would we anticipate that?
Were you talking in the context of this area right here around 28,000?
No, the 50%. That
So right
reversal at
here.
50% right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you catch that? How would you know that okay, it's gonna stop there and make the massive reversal? After all that selling right there, wouldn't we would probably think, okay, maybe we come back down to the bottom of the range?
Mhm. Is it this hammer candle that you're referring to?
No,
That would be the signal?
no,
Because it's right at that 50% level.
where you pull the fib.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, you've got this breaker candle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I know there's a bullish order block there. Um,
Okay. But that's
you
what
know,
I'm
if I was
saying, right? Within the Wyckoff strategy, we had the buying climax to the left here. We have the automatic rally that comes up to your dash green line. Then we hit
Mhm,
the bottom here and create the automatic stop. I mean the secondary stop, right? That's at the bottom here.
mhm,
Now, after that
good.
phase is
That's
done,
16.
yeah.
Mhm.
So after that phase is done, how do you anticipate anything else in that phase? Because now I
I
could
mean,
anticipate the buying, the selling climax, the automatic rally, and the secondary stop. Now after that, what I'm saying is it goes haywire from there. Like we don't know if it's gonna hit, we're gonna shake out, we're gonna up trust, we're gonna if you get what I'm saying.
I guess what you're saying is this is kind of would be the top of the range. And so once it pulls back and then it retests it again, this would be your where it goes into phase D and it does the jump across the creek and it comes back and backups to the edge of the creek, right? Wouldn't that be what this is?
Yeah, yeah.
And so you do get a big bunch of buyers right there. It comes right back down to it. There's a bullish order block right here. Um, so for me, that would be if my bias was bullish, I would be
Yeah.
looking to buy when it back tested the creek, so to
Okay.
speak,
So
which it did.
so
In this case, it did it a second time.
right. So you're taking the retest of the breakout, right?
Yeah. So I would have considered this, or I would have looked for it to pull back here. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying with the Wyckoff theory. To me, the best things that I can anticipate is the selling climax, the automatic rally, and the secondary stop. After that, it's kind of like
It's like wait and see.
yes, the manipulation gets so crazy that you don't know what's really gonna happen. Like when it comes back to that 50% line right there, would you go bullish? Would you take a long from there?
Yeah,
You
I
know, if
agree.
in the past, if I was trading Fibonacci, maybe,
Okay.
you know, if I was bullish on this as an accumulation, this is kind of what I mentioned in that last discussion we just had, where, we're looking for a higher low, right?
Hmm.
And so right here, you've got this swing that happened in November of 22, and then we made a higher high, we made a higher low, it made another higher high, and then look, we made a lower low. This is that fake out. I see this happen all the time in these structures. You're
Hmm.
expecting a higher low right here, and you get faked out. And
Yeah.
so you go short or you get stopped out. And this is a stop run. This is pure and simple stop run.
Yeah.
You know, what we're thinking should happen is price should stay above this bullish order block, and it doesn't. I see it all the time in these. And it's
Yeah.
really something that I've had to adapt to because I almost look for these now. This to me is a bear trap, pure and simple.
So
It's an
Hec-
awkward looking pattern.
so Hector, would you take a reversal there? Would you buy at this pattern right there? Like let's say we don't see the big bullish engulfing candle. How would you look at this here?
That's a great question. I was just gonna say that I agree with your take. You know, sometimes this thing is more of a discretionary, right? I also like to take that huge pullback sometimes because it's just like you said, it's like you said in the name, right? An automatic rally. Like in the ANQ, you just see the algo sweeping,
Yeah.
going nuts, right? So because I've been, on the other side, what I think is jump the creek thing, and no, man, I just have been getting smoked. So, eh, it has to be like a perfect pattern. At least in my experience, I don't think I'm well knowledgeable of this. Yeah,
Like the
but
breakout trades when we're like
the
jumping the
breakouts,
creek?
yeah, the
It's
breakouts for me don't work much.
nah, I
I
can't
I
do it,
learned
man.
my lesson. And I rather buy the dip, man. To
Yeah,
tell you the
man.
truth,
For me too, bro. I can't do
I
the
feel
breakouts,
it.
man.
Yeah,
I think there's that statistic that 90% of breakouts fail,
I think that's
or they
true,
fake
man.
out and trap. Yeah, I do too. And so I'm really cautious with those. I'd much rather play inside the range than outside of it.
Yeah. You remember this guy from Beable Traders? He used his whole strategy was taking the breakouts. I forgot his. I think it's John. You remember him?
Um, yeah, John BBT was
Yeah, I
his
think he was in the
avatar.
army at one point, and he has I forgot. He has like a real kind of like a raspy kind of voice. I think he said like something happened in the army where I think he was a drill sergeant and he used to shout so much that he kind of lost his voice a little bit. So he has like a little kind of raspy voice, but his whole strategy is breakouts. And I was like, yeah, I can't do that, man, because it's the win rate is kind of low, bro.
yeah.
Yeah, you got to be bringing a bail.
Yeah, man. Oh man,
Well,
we've
guys,
been
this has been
yeah,
great. It's been really illuminating. We've been hitting it hard today. I think we are at 2 hours. We just broke.
yeah, bro. Yeah.
So, you
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
I think in the interest of no longer brevity, but just for uploading to YouTube, we should probably call it here.
Yeah,
I could talk about
Jeremy,
this all night.
we gotta apologize to Hector. We held Hector hostage, man. He
Oh, that's
couldn't
That's
leave.
cool,
right.
man. I really enjoy it, man. We went through everything. We learned order flow, book map, trading psychology, the commitment of traders. That's probably you're
Yeah.
gonna gain like at least you gotta get 1,000 followers, Jeremy, from this.
For real.
I'll tell you the average is one. from these videos. So
Yeah.
Hey,
we
Rome
just keep
wasn't
in mind,
built in one day, brother. So
we're gonna have to do these 1,000 more times,
yeah.
which I am totally game to do. I do this because I love it. I do this because it's informative.
Yeah,
I
me
do this
too,
because
man.
I learn from you guys, and you guys teach me so much, and it's just the
We all
best,
learn
man.
from each other, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, with that, I'm going to feed the drums in. And thank you, everyone that watched this video to the end. I hope you got something out of it. Give us a like, hit the subscribe button. You're welcome to join us in the Premium Tier Futures Discord. You can find us at Premium FTS on X. And you should have an invite link in the description. If not, just shoot me a comment, and I'm happy to join you. And yeah, with that, we'll catch you in the trading room.
Thank you, guys.
All right, y'all. Thanks, man. Take care.
How about you too?
All right, y'all. That was our discussion from Premium Tier Futures. It's Melek Shalomo, and I hope you all enjoyed the breakdown. And I'm gonna catch y'all later. Y'all trade safe and stay blessed.